Hello everyone, welcome to another Chess Alien video. Today we're going to learn about the Caro Kann defense. The Caro Kann defense starts after white's first move e4, and we respond with c6. This defense only works against e4, so if you play d4 or c6, it's something else. If you play c4, d5, it's called the Slav defense. It shares a similar pawn structure to our Caro Kann defense, but we're going to stick with the Caro Kann. So e4, c6. So a lot of people would say, oh, what is the move c6? It blocks the knight and does not commit any central pawns. Well, yeah, so if white controls the center, we'll play d5. So c6 acts like a little staircase for the d5 pawn, because if we play d5 immediately, it goes into something called the Scandinavian defense. And after takes, you actually lose some tempo because then I can hit the queen, and oftentimes it's not that good. So I actually like the Caro Kann defense, e4, c6. And then the most common defenses are knight f3, knight c3, there's d4. Well, let's cover the most popular one, d4. After d4, we want to build the staircase, d5. And then there are a few game plans. So let's talk about the most popular one. This is the e5. There are two main variations. The first one is bishop f5. This is the main line. And after that, we basically have a fixed setup. So after this, we can play e6 to complete the pawn pyramid. This structure is very stable. It's very hard for white to conquer black here. And then the future game plan is basically this. So we want to play c5 to add pressure to the central pawn. And after that, we want to bring our queen here. We want to bring the knight here. This knight is kind of stuck because of the e5 pawn, so we normally want to go reroute it with uh, h6 to g4, or sometimes we can do it like e7 to g6. It really depends on where pieces are. And we normally want a short castle because the pawns are early committed. So this is like a very nice little position. I feel like it's pretty easy to play. Normally the game plan right now is to pressure the d pawn. If you can't really pressure the d pawn, for example, if he trades here, very good. You get some free development, and then now we pressure the e pawn because of his central advancement in this position. It really makes his pawns a bit weak. So that brings us to the second variation. It's not the main line; it's something called sideline. We play the move c5 here. So c5, it seems like we've wasted a move. So for example, oh, what if you just play that and that and that? Well, that normally doesn't really happen, but like, yeah. So e4 c6 d4 d5 e5 c5. This is the Gotham Caro Kann, so it's covered in a Gotham video. What I like about this position, it's its simplicity and the chance of your opponent blundering. So most of your opponents will actually play the move c3, which I don't think it's that good of a move because it allows you to play knight c6 to pressure the pawn instantly. Uh, and after that, a lot of your opponents would play a knight f3, and then now you just have the very natural move bishop g4, pinning. And normally we actually don't want to take the pawn right now because because of our c5 move, it kind of like exposes this diagonal. So we wanna leave it until, for example, if he plays like h3, we can take, take, and take, and then we're basically just up a pawn, and that should be a very nice little natural game. There are other ways to like play this. For example, let's say d takes e5 is actually very popular right now, and after that we want to play e6. Notice why we don't want to play e6 before the bishop is out, which creates a very bad bishop if it's locked in. So this is actually a very good move. b4 here does not work due to, let's see, due to a6 to prevent this future advancement. Or sometimes you don't even have to play it. You can play bishop takes f3, queen takes, and then later onwards we can play like queen c7 to targeting this pawn. Yeah, so I feel like this is actually a very nice little Caro Kann. If you want some more specifics, you can hop onto a Gotham video. And this is like the most popular advanced variation. If you play the main line, just to point out, if he plays like the tall variation, please do not play e6 because it allows you to trap your bishop after here, and your bishop is just locked in jail. He has committed some pawns, and then it can contribute to like some kingside attack later onwards in the game. But anyway, your bishop is just lost. Even if you don't for this trap, let's say if you play like h6, he has this very sneaky move e6. It's after g4 here, and then e6. So the point of e6 is that after f takes e6, now he can play bishop d3, and then if you trade it off, you realize that this square is a permanent weakness, and then your pawns itself hinders the development of the knight and the bishop. So it's kind of hard to play. So normally, if you play against the tall variation, I would actually recommend h5 to prevent this move completely. So this is the first part of the Caro Kann. So after here, white does not have to go with e5 all the time. Instead, there are two popular defenses, I think. So the first one is knight c3, the classical variation. Here, I just recommend takes. In this position, there are other like Caro Kanns, for example, like the classical, like here, and here. I actually don't like the classical because it bounces your bishop a bit too much. So I actually recommend a easier knight f6. So even it damages your pawn structure, you realize that it's very hard for white to like break through. And right now we have a pretty simple game plan. We go here, we castle. We want to develop the bishop here, and then for example, if he goes like here, and then after like anything, for example here, and then here, we have a very optimal setup, and we can also break through with c5. That's like a pretty common Caro Kann game plan, and life is good. So this is one of the variations. A lot of players would sometimes play knight d6. This is called the Karpov variation, named after the world chess champion. But the downside of the Karpov variation is because of knight g5. Because if you play, oh, the knight is so annoying, let's just play h6. Boom. Knight e6. It's a brilliant move, I have to say, because if you take, bam, it's just checkmate. And if you like just leave the knight there, and then, I mean, like the knight is like really annoying. It hits two of your pieces. If you play it really wrong, then you can get in trouble in a few moves. So I actually don't recommend the Karpov variation. The Karpov variation can get very tricky after knight g5. So yeah, I actually recommend the Target Tower variation. After here, there's another very common move. It's called knight g5. It's called the Alien Gambit. It's like really risky. Here, I actually want you to tempt your opponent to like play it, because after h6 takes, it seems like black has gambited a knight, but it's actually not that easy. For example, the most common move on the chess database is after bishop g4. It's basically just a free fork. It looks very natural, but you can get very choppy later onwards in the game. So after takes, there's the refutation I actually want you guys to remember. So after knight f3, the most common move, there's the move c5. So c5 basically says, oh, take my pawn. Because if you take, after takes, and then probably like e6, you can probably gain the pawn back. And you're just basically up a piece. So I think it's going to be pretty easy to convert this kind of game. So just be in mind of the move c5. C5 is very useful. Don't fall into like some nasty traps. If he checks you, please go e6. Please don't go anything else. Don't try to block with the knight. After e6, if he tries to check you here, the key square, the only critical square is king g8. This is the only safe square. And then after this, even if he plays like knight g6, seemingly attacking a rook, you can play knight c6. You can just gambit, because guess what? We got two minor pieces for the rook, and that, although it seems like it's equal material, black is actually better because two minor pieces can cover more squares than a rook in the middle game. So that's something to note. This is called the Alien Gambit. Sometimes your opponent doesn't really have to play the move knight c3. There's this very funny move. It's f3. It's called the fantasy variation. I think that's what Gotham also recommends in his openings. Here I actually have two different options. If you opt to play it really safe, you can play e6, just like locking down. And then after knight c3, we can go like bishop f4, just like natural development. Probably you don't want to commit like knight f6 because there's the move e5. So just to make sure, don't like place your knight here. Just like casually develop. Your bishop is kind of bad, but if you trade here, you can take with the e pawn to free up your bishop. So that's something pretty good. There's a more aggressive variation. I actually really like it. It's the move e5. E5 seems to gambit a pawn, and after that you play bishop c5. Seemingly, oh wait, is this guy just giving free pawns? Because after takes, no, you have this. you have a battery. And then pointing at this. The most common move here is, oh, my knight is attacked. But if I go here, I ruin my pawn structure. So I'll go here. Guess what? This is just checkmate, because after here, here, and here. So this is a very trappy variation. The only right move here is knight h3, and after takes, the king is really exposed right now. After like bishop f2 check, let's go like king e2, and then after that we can play like c takes d5. If queen takes d5, by the way, there's knight c6. You can bring your rook in to the attack, and then I feel like that although black is down 2 pawns, he has really good attacking chances just because of the king's position, and the bishop is sort of trapped just because of the king's position and the pawn's position. So I feel like this could be a very good attacking game against the fantasy variation. Back here, we also have the what's known as the two knights variation. Here. Against the two knights, there is the d takes e4 variation, but I actually recommend bishop g4 just pinning. If you want to take, no problem, just take it. In the Caro Kann defense, the light square bishop is actually a bad bishop because we want to build a pyramid on the light squares, which means that if we remove it, it doesn't, because if we still keep it on the board, it is on the same color of our pawns, and since we can't take our own pawns, it's sort of like a downside rather than an asset. However, we want to keep our knights, so we want to keep the dark squared bishop. These are really good pieces in the Caro Kann. So after takes, we can play kind of solidly. We can play like e6. Now we can just build the pawn. If he takes, good, we can take back here. We activated our bishop. We have a knight development. Life just seems good. Yeah. And finally, there's still some traps. There's the Panov, I guess. The Panov is okay, let's just say, because after here takes, we don't take with a queen. Instead, we play knight f6, just like challenging the pawn. After here, now we can take. Do you know what's the difference? The difference is because if we take here, he can play knight c3, just bouncing our queen around. It's like a Scandinavian defense, but I actually don't like this kind of position. Finally, there's a more like a personal trick, d4, d5. There's this tricky move, bishop d3. This is like inaccuracy, but like it works really well sometimes. After here, sometimes people just like trade it off. And then a lot of people played this, and then people would sometimes fall for like a bishop trap later onwards in the game. So after here, here, the bishop is basically just like stuck in the corner, and then later onwards you can execute a pretty sharp attack. So against this, knight g3 is the right move, I believe. And then after here, we can play c3. Sorry, after here, if he plays like h4 here, h6 after this, we can normally just bring the bishop back, and I feel like it's gonna be simple. Just make sure he doesn't attack your f7 weakness, and it's gonna be good. That's it for the Caro Kann. I really like the Caro Kann because of the pawn pyramid demonstrated before. Let's take a look at it again. So after like here, this is the typical Caro Kann pawn pyramid. So it's really hard for black to attack, and then if he advances too far, we can take advantage of it. We can always pressure his d pawn, and it's gonna be a very simple game plan. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.